Hello everyone, it is Joseph here, and today I'm talking about why alternatives to YouTube are basically doomed to fail. Or are they? By alternative to YouTube I basically mean long-form video sharing platforms, because in recent years there has been a considerable amount of alternatives to the video sharing behemoth that is YouTube. Today I'm going to speak chiefly of the video sharing platform known as BitChute, as I have the most experience with it, but trust me, I have used a lot of YouTube alternatives over the years. There is Rumble, Odyssey, Dailymotion, Vimeo, FreeSpeechTube, World Truth Video, Brand New Tube, and the list just goes on. I think what I have to say here about BitChute can really just apply to most of them, but like I said, I'll just be talking primarily about BitChute, as that is one of the biggest alternatives currently. So I joined BitChute nearing 4 years ago now, so I'm definitely very familiar with the platform, the people who use it, and the type of content that is hosted there. Starting off, I think that the user interface of the site is overall fairly decent. It's somewhat simplistic, but in a way I think that actually makes it easier to use, less overwhelming, and it's just also a nice aesthetic. Although I can see many people who are familiar with the more polished and more modern design of YouTube finding it to be somewhat lacking. Most people I've come across haven't complained about it, and it's definitely seen improvements over the years. I definitely think that BitChute has an edge up on YouTube because you can literally embed images within the comments section, and you are actually able to see the comments section, unlike on YouTube where sometimes it'll tell you you have 9 comments, but you can really only see 3 of them even when you sort by new or go to the flagged for review section and there's no more comments there. But for a moment we need to take a step back from the more superficial stuff and look at the bigger picture. Why do people go to YouTube in the first place? For the content, to watch videos. And I'd argue a large part of BitChute's success is actually due in part to YouTube's own policies, and here's why. If you look up BitChute on Google, you'll be shown a Wikipedia article that states that BitChute is known for hosting far-right content. Why exactly is this? Well, it's because more and more over the years, as many of the dissident rights have been banned from YouTube, they have migrated to places like BitChute, which has culminated in more or less of BitChute becoming a far-right echo chamber with no real fault of its own due to the core values of the site being set on freedom of speech and expression. So YouTube has inadvertently created something even worse than what they were trying to counter, because if a lot of the right-wing content creators remained on YouTube, and if YouTube's policies reflected valuing free speech, then more people would be able to challenge their viewpoints, and people who are interested in watching political content would be able to have more diversity in the views of political topics. Whereas by removing freedom of speech from their platform, they have pushed everyone with certain types of views all onto one site, thereby creating an echo chamber. Whereas there may be people who would have perhaps changed their views about certain things given the opportunity to watch dissenting information, that can no longer happen due to the fact that many of them have just up and left YouTube altogether for BitChute. I definitely think there's at least some more diversity in terms of political views on BitChute. At least I think there's more people that are far less what you would call extreme than before, because I remember years ago on BitChute there was many self-proclaimed white supremacists and neo-Nazis on the site that are still there, but they are now more overshadowed by the swarm of more standard right-wingers like Trump supporters and QAnon followers. And I think this all is exactly what turns people away from BitChute. People may be less inclined to use the site because of the reputation that it has, but the thing is, it's not getting any better if the site only continues to be populated by people of a certain political persuasion. And don't get me wrong here, I'm not saying at all that BitChute should compromise on their promise to uphold freedom of speech. That's really what's at the core of BitChute and sets it apart. All I'm saying is that it's going to be hard to get people to give this site a fair shot. An analogy for this would be like if you want to get into a university but you've got bad grades in high school, so you may have to attend a community college for a couple years and transfer to a university, if that makes sense. We sort of need some people to act as a stepping stone to build momentum on these alternative platforms, which there has been a few. I really don't know if I will ever live to see the day that YouTube may actually be overtaken by another video sharing platform. But YouTube has made it clear time and time again that they prefer to remain advertiser-friendly as opposed to allowing open expression on their platform. Who knows though, maybe in the future YouTube will be bought out by someone like Elon Musk, and we will get a Twitter situation where there's more free speech on the platform. However, even if that was the case, I still think alternatives will be good, as it's always a good idea to not place your faith entirely in one platform, especially if you produce content online. So, do I really think BitChute and other alternatives to YouTube are doomed to fail? Well, it's kind of hard to say, and it all comes down to what you define as a failure. Right now, I don't see BitChute as a failure at all. It does for me what I wanted to do, and over the years I think it's been heading in the right direction. Do I see it ever becoming comparable in size to YouTube? That's much trickier, but not at the rate things are going right now. People complain about YouTube's issues, but just stay there because they're so invested anyways. A lot of people only fully leave the platform after they've been banned anyways. So maybe that's how it will continue to be, until YouTube goes full-blown ban crazy and tons of people are forced to migrate to BitChute. I don't see it getting as big as YouTube. And as an added note, if BitChute ever wants to seriously rival YouTube, they're going to need to work on developing the BitChute mobile app, because right now BitChute is pretty much only fully functional on the web desktop. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you see BitChute continuing to grow in the future, and do you think they have a shot at becoming a major social media platform with the likes of YouTube? Why or why not?